If you want to grow your brand and drive real business results, podcasting is a powerful tool to build authority and generate leads. In this episode, I'm going to tell you how you can use podcasting to grow your business or personal brand. My name's Dan. I'm a serial entrepreneur with a huge passion for podcasting, and I created Elephant Media to help businesses and individuals leverage podcasting to scale their brands. This is Podcasting for Business Growth. In each episode, you'll be getting tips and strategies to help you start and grow an effective podcast for your brand. So you've heard that podcasting is a great tool for your business or your personal brand, but why, you may ask? Well, I'm here to tell you. Firstly, authority. If you have a potential client that's looking at your website, or LinkedIn page, or any other social media, they may be thinking, why should I listen to this person? Why should I believe what they have to say? When you have a podcast out there, it gives you this authority that people will be able to see that you know what you're talking about, and you're able to talk for length about a subject, whether you have a solo podcast or whether you have guests and you're discussing certain topics. Your potential clients who are then listening to this will see the authority you have on the subject, and they'll believe what you say a lot easier. This leads into the second reason, which is trust. And when you start to talk regularly on a podcast and you're talking regularly to your audience, they will begin to trust what you have to say. It's quite different to just putting out short form content, because you're more engaged with that listener or viewer of your podcast. They are listening for long periods, regularly, weekly, generally, and they start to trust you and believe everything that you have to say, and they're on that journey with you of your podcast. So you're bringing the audience into your world, into your business, into your brand, and it's very hard to do this in other forms of marketing. As well as connecting with the audience, if you're having guests on the podcast, connecting with that guest can be an incredibly useful tool for your business. If you approach someone that you want to speak to, that you want to get into a room, it can be quite difficult to get that introduction, get that meeting. But if you invite someone to become a guest on your podcast, quite often their ego will take over and they'll be quite honoured to be asked, and they're much more likely to say yes to be a guest on your podcast and speak to you for perhaps an hour than they are to agree to have that 30-minute phone call or Zoom meeting or chat because they think you're going to sell to them. But if you're just looking to get someone in a room, having them as a guest on your podcast can often be much easier to have that chat. And when they're on your podcast, you build a deeper connection with them than if you're just trying to sell to them at a conference or in a one-on-one meeting. And you can do a lot for them once they're on your podcast. You can, if they're coming on your podcast to get their own content, you can provide them with that content and build that trust with them and relationship. It can be quite hard to gain with someone that you're trying to build a connection with from nothing. Similar to this, it can be used as a great networking tool. And when you're talking about getting that person in the room, it's a great form of networking, because once you've got that person on your podcast, you may be talking about subjects and uncovering things with them that you haven't even thought about, that will lead to them introducing you to other people, introducing you to new guests on your show, and the other way around. So just having that podcast, regarding whether anyone's listening or not, having that connection with someone in the room and the networking capabilities of it are amazing, and it's so invaluable to be able to do that with someone in that scenario, which is really hard to get on many levels. Now, if you're struggling for content ideas, content creation in general for your business or your brand, a podcast is perfect, because that long form content that you're creating with a podcast gives you so many options to use as content across your business. So you can, once you've got that podcast recorded, if you film it, you can use the clips across all your social media. You can take the transcript, turn it into a blog or a written post on LinkedIn. You can use that in an email or newsletter, and you can continue repurposing this content for as long as you want. If you're recording content that doesn't have an expiry date, so you're not talking about something current, you're giving out information, then that content could last forever. You can always refer back to it. And each episode that you're recording, you're creating a catalogue of information and content that you can use going forward. So having that starting point of a podcast just opens up a kind of world of content that you can use for your business. So if you really struggle to know what to post to help market your business, starting with a podcast is such a great idea. You can use podcasting for lead generation. Once you start building an audience, they will then know, like, and trust you and become very warm leads for your business. You can invite your podcast audience to join your mailing list or to follow you on social media or to become connections. And people that are listening to you on the podcast, they start to feel like they know you. If they're listening to you regularly, they really feel like they will know a lot about you, know what you're all about. And like I said, build that trust. And if you're podcasting effectively, that audience will become the easiest lead to sell to that you've ever had. Podcasting can also become an additional revenue stream for your business. Now, there's 3 ways you can monetize it. As we've said, lead generation, you're leading your audience to your business to sell them your product or service. The second way to monetize is through other people's products or services, and whether you're selling sponsorship or affiliate links on your podcast, you can generate an additional income through them. And if you're providing great value to your audience, they may want to pay to receive that value. So having a subscription model or a membership site for premium content, you can add that revenue stream to the audience that you already have. Now, if you're a business or an entrepreneur with a very limited marketing budget, podcasting has a very low barrier to entry. All you really need is a microphone, and you can get recording and publish a podcast and get started with little to no cost to you and your business. Now, podcasting really does work to help grow your business or your personal brand. You can establish thought leadership and credibility. You can attract potential clients or customers through lead generation. Your audience will know, like, and trust you and become hot leads. You can build that authority and influence and connect with your audience on a deeper level. And you can use your podcast to create a professional and polished brand and image. Clearly, I have a great love for podcasting. Podcasting not only helped me with my business, but it also helped me find my passion. I use podcasting to help me find passion. It helped me find my voice, helped me grow confidence in public speaking, and it opened doors for me. It opened doors in business and in life with the people I met and the people that heard me speak. And I'm sure if you start podcasting, you'll see so many advantages for your business and your brand. Now, I'm going to tell you a quick, actionable strategy to tell you how you can get started on your podcast. Firstly, define your audience and your ideal listener. Now, this is probably the most important thing, because if you're not connecting with your audience, you're not going to go anywhere. You've got to identify who your audience is and why they are listening to your podcast and what you're doing for them. Make your podcast about your audience. Make them the most important thing. Not about you, not about your guest. It's about your audience. And if you connect with your audience, they'll keep coming back for more and more episodes. So you need to define that niche. You need a title that's connected to the niche and really clear. You need the artwork to be clear and concise. You need a description that ties all that together. You need episode titles that take the audience on the journey. And you need episode titles and description that keep connecting with the audience you've identified and solving their problems and hitting their pain points that makes them keep coming back time and time again. Now, once you have all this, you need to decide on a format and schedule, whether you're going to do video or audio, if it's going to be daily, weekly, twice weekly, monthly, yearly. Just pick that schedule and stick to it, because your audience will want to know when it's coming out, and that you want to create the habit of listening to your show. So whatever you decide on, it will really help to stick to that schedule and consistency. Now, audio quality is very important. It doesn't cost a lot of money. You can get a decent quality mic for under £100. And add this with some good editing, and you'll be able to create a great quality podcast that people will enjoy listening to. Now, once you've done all this, make sure you do include a call to action in your podcast. If you want people to subscribe, if you want people to go to your website, connect with you on LinkedIn, whatever you're looking to gain from your audience, make sure you ask them. Otherwise, you're not turning your audience into the effective lead that you want. Now, this is just a really, really brief, quick overview on how to start a podcast. Each episode, I'll be going into real detail and depth on how you get started, the strategies you need to take to make an effective podcast for your brand or business. So if you subscribe, you'll be getting a really easy to follow step-by-step guide on how to create a podcast and make it effective for your business or brand. Podcasting is such a powerful tool, and podcast audiences are growing and growing every day. And at the moment, podcast audiences are booming. So don't miss this opportunity to start a podcast and grow it with me, as I'll be bringing you tips and strategies every week. In the next episode, I'll be showing you how to define your podcast niche. Whether you've got no idea what you want to talk about, or whether you just need to hone in and get more specific, I've got a great method that you can follow along, and I'll show you the unique way I came up with my podcast niche as well. Thanks very much for listening. I hope you gained some value out of this episode. Check the show notes for more information, or go to elephantmedia.co if you want me to help you with your podcast.